mode.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Wednesday webinar. My name is Jay Berkowitz, and I'm the founder of InternetMarketingClub.org, and I'm also the founder and CEO of 10goldenrules.com, an internet marketing agency. I'm really excited to have Brent Sampson with us today. Brent, you're there, right?
I am here, thank you.
Audio sounds great. And Erica Barbosa, who manages Internet Marketing Club, is with us as well. Erica, how's your audio today?
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Sounds great.
Okay.
And hopefully slides are good. If you guys don't mind, there's an interface in the GoToWebinar, and you can just type in questions there. And we're going to use that for the question and answer session at the end of Brent's presentation. If you could just let us know if the audio is good and the slides look good, just to confirm. I'm sure everything's working fine, but let's make sure. And first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our sponsor, because we're here today for the Internet Marketing Club. And this is just an online networking group. And if you found out about this from maybe a tweet from Brent or a tweet from myself or Erica, the Internet Marketing Club is a completely free group to join. And we have, I think, somewhere around 2,300 or 2,400 members from all around the world. Over 100 countries have come to Internet Marketing Club. And it's just a great place to learn more about internet marketing and network with a bunch of folks who are interested in the same things that we all are. And I'm really excited today to have Brent Sampson as our guest speaker. And his book, Sell Your Book on Amazon, is probably number 1 or 2 of all books that I've recommended in the past 3 or 4 years since I read his book. And I normally go one step further, and if a friend of mine has a need for a book, I will typically buy them the book. So, Brent, I've bought at least 15 or 20 copies of your book.
Oh, that was you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Because it's a really great, simple how-to guide on publishing your book and promoting your book on Amazon, which, of course, is an awesome, important place to sell your book. And it's just so well-written and so crisp and clean. And you guys are going to get all that once Brent presents. But I just wanted to share that, really, I'm very excited. And I don't always say this. And I personally recruited Brent for several months. So thank you so much for doing this. I'm really excited to see this presentation. A little bit more about Brent. He's the founder, CEO, and CMO of Outskirts Press, which is a custom full-service publishing and marketing firm. They've published over 7,000 books, and they are an Inc. 1000 fastest-growing private company 3 years in a row. So congratulations on that. That's awesome as well.
Thank you. We just heard about that last one, and it was very exciting for all of us. Thank you.
So I'm sure you're going to tell us a lot more about your company, as well as giving us great tips. I forgot, he's also published 2 other books. I'm such a big fan. Self-Publishing Simplified and Adventures in Publishing. And, of course, the book that really turned me on to this whole area, because I have my book, The 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing, is available on Amazon. So with that, I think we'll turn things over to Brent and Erica. And thank you for doing this, and I look forward to seeing the presentation.
Great, thank you, Jay. And Brent, you should have the controls in just a moment. Okay, great, we can see your screen.
Perfect. How's that look?
Looks good.
Can I minimize that so it doesn't get in the way?
Yeah, your slides look great.
Perfect.
Yeah, don't click the X. Click the little arrow. The X logs you out, so click the arrow, it makes it small.
How about that? Perfect. Okay, so the slides look good. Everybody can hear me. I will start talking about Amazon. I'm excited to be here and talking about it today. I published this book, Sell Your Book on Amazon, in 2007, and it's done a lot for our business and for authors in general. So it's also basically an exercise in what I'm going to be talking about today, which is writing a book and then Amazon to promote the book. Although it's okay if you haven't written a book or don't plan on writing a book, Amazon is a great platform to promote you if you're a speaker. It's also a great platform to promote your business, regardless of whether your business is involved in selling products or whether it's involved in selling services. So just in general, Amazon offers a lot of tools that you can use to promote you, your book, and your business. And we're going to talk about all of those over the next 50 minutes or so. It's going to be a fast 50 minutes. Jay did a wonderful introduction to me, so I don't have to go too much more into that. I'm Brent Sampson, as he said. The first question, and actually it's more a rhetorical question at this point, is why would you want to focus on Amazon? So I just found this chart really quickly to demonstrate Amazon's net sales growth. They're up 240%, their rate of return over the past 2 consecutive years. And basically that's probably telling everyone what they already know, which is Amazon gets a lot of traffic. They got a lot of business. As companies like Borders go out of business, a lot of those consumers are starting to migrate toward Amazon. We're about to get into a generation where everybody who's been in the 20s and 30s, they're starting to not know a world that hasn't had the internet, and soon we're going to run into people who have never known a world without Amazon. More and more books are purchased from Amazon. But why Amazon is really exciting is even if people aren't planning on purchasing a book or a product from Amazon, they very often use Amazon as a source of information. They research a product they're going to purchase from Amazon, even if they plan on going elsewhere to actually make the purchase. And that's really great for you as we talk about how you can use Amazon to sell you or your book or your product, because they're going to Amazon to find an expert, find information, find an expertise in what topic they're interested in. We're going to talk today about how we can make you that person with that content, and then they may go to your website or to your Facebook page or to your blog to actually learn more about you and start that relationship. Since I have just a little bit of time, 50 minutes is pretty fast to cover all that I could talk about on Amazon. I've boiled this down to 3 key points that I'm going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to establish your presence on Amazon. We're going to talk about how to establish your content on Amazon and what that content looks like, different variety of forms. And we're going to talk about establishing your expertise. And what we will discover as we talk about these 3 steps is how they really they cycle upon each other. It becomes a full circle, and once you've established your expertise, you'll see how the steps, the foundation that you laid at the beginning of this process when you were establishing your presence, how important that was, because your expertise is going to feed back into your presence, and that's really what's going to cause people to go elsewhere. Actually, what you want to do is motivate them ultimately to leave Amazon, right? And the way you motivate them to leave Amazon is you give them what they want, you convince them that you're the person to deliver what they want, and then they find you elsewhere, whether it's on your own website with your own domain name, or whether it's on your blog, or even at your physical brick-and-mortar store. And that's how you're starting to turn the marketing tactics that we're going to talk about today into what we really, really care about, which is dollars, right? We want to grow our business. We want to sell our services or our products. Okay, so let's boil down a little bit more into the steps involved in establishing your presence on Amazon. We're going to talk about the user profile that Amazon creates for you, and then you just need to fill it out. And we're going to talk about the Author Central profile. And it doesn't really matter whether or not you have a book yet. I'm going to try to convince you of the value of writing a book, even if it's just an electronic book through the Kindle. If you sell a service or sell a product, believe me, you have the information in your head that will make a valuable book, whether it's a Kindle book or a paperback, because other people are going to be looking for the information you have, whether it's a how-to guide or a self-help guide or a how to get divorced, how to get out of a DUI, how to get out of a speeding ticket, how to hook up your sound system. Anything that you sell, whether it's a product or a service, can be turned into a helpful guide. And once you have that guide, you want to publish it on Amazon, and a lot of these steps will start to help you find more business and more customers the minute you have that book. But even if you don't plan on doing that, I'm going to talk to you about why it's valuable to create an Author Central profile. Okay, let's talk first about the user profile, which is this screenshot here. This is a screenshot from my user profile. And I'm going to go to the next slide here. I think this one's loaded already. Let's go to the next one where I circle a couple of the key elements of this same slide, you'll see a couple of circles in here. Let's talk about the very, very top circle, which is in that subheading of choices along the top in the little text links. It's the second one from the right. It's the circled text link that says Your Profile. And this is how you can create your own profile. Once you've logged into Amazon as a consumer, as a shopper, that's actually a third account that Amazon creates for you. It's not necessarily a profile per se, but it's just an account hooked up to your email and your credit card information when you've purchased anything from Amazon. Now let me just quickly say that if you've never purchased anything from Amazon, you might be attending the wrong webinar, so maybe go buy something really quick. You'll need to buy something from Amazon to do any of this stuff. Amazon needs to know who you are as an individual and as a human being. And one of the ways that it validates your true identity is by getting a credit card from you when you make that purchase. That way you don't have multiple accounts and can't start to abuse some of the tools that I'm going to talk to you about. Well, once you have an account, you can get to your profile from any other profile on Amazon. And you do that by clicking on that link. Once you're on your own profile here, you'll see this second circular button along the right upper corner of this screenshot that you're looking at now. It says Edit Your Profile. When you click on that button, you'll get a series of forms on your Amazon profile screen that you can fill out. And this is really how you customize your own user profile on Amazon. Now on the same screen, let's go look over to the right where I've circled Brent Sampson, and I've also circled a little subheading that I've put under my name. I didn't necessarily have control over my name, Brent Sampson. Amazon puts that for me when I buy something, looks at my identity when I purchase something with a credit card. But I do have control over the little subheading. It's what I call a signature or a headline for my identity on Amazon. And in this case, I've put CEO of OutskirtsPress.com. Now, for those of you who have another website that you're looking to try to drive traffic to, you might already get kind of stars in your eyes with the opportunity that this presents. It's really an opportunity for you to take all of the millions of consumers and visitors that are going to Amazon and put your domain name in front of them without having to worry about pay-per-click advertising on Google or even search engine optimization. You have a very specific level of control over what you put into this field. Now, I had to space it out in order to get over some of Amazon's filters to prevent you from doing that, but this is pretty clear what it's doing here, and it's a way to get your domain name in front of a lot of people. And we're not just talking about quantity here, we're also talking about quality, because I'm going to talk about ways that you actually target and specifically locate the people on Amazon who you want as customers. And we'll talk about that when we start talking about the content that you're going to put and then the establishment of your expertise. Kind of roll our eyes down along the left-hand column of this screenshot a little bit more, and you'll see the author, you'll see the photograph of me, and this is a great place for you to start establishing a brand identity. This is a boring headshot of me in a suit, but that's okay. You know, it establishes professionalism, it establishes some credibility and some expertise that I'm trying to personify through this picture, and you immediately get maybe a little bit more of a high caliber kind of expectation from me here than if I were standing in my backyard, you know, with the sun glinting off one side of my face and I'm wearing a baseball cap or I'm a little bit unkempt. So I would recommend and encourage you to get a professional shot done and then start to use that same professional shot everywhere branding, whether it be on your own website or on Amazon on your profiles. And as we go through these screenshots, you'll start to see that face of mine follow us around, and that's good. That means that's a brand identity that I'm starting to create. Underneath that caption, that photograph is a caption, Brent Sampson, President and CEO of Outskirts Press Incorporated. Now this means that this is a different piece of information that I also have control over. In this particular case, it's pretty much repetitive from the headline that I put above my name, but the fact that the wording is a little bit different demonstrates to you that you can actually put two different pieces of information there. You can use one to promote your domain name, whether it be to a website or to your Facebook page or whatever you're trying to promote. And then in the second smaller caption, you can create something that establishes a little bit more expertise, a little bit more credibility, indicates what your qualifications are, what have you, and that's what I've done here. If you follow down to this last circular section, you'll see where the location is of our company, and also you'll see something that's very powerful, and that is an actual domain name which links out of Amazon to the company or the organization that you're trying to promote, that you're trying to market on Amazon. And people can click on that when they come to this profile page and then click out of Amazon to a place where you're doing business, where you're collecting money if you've created an e-commerce site or where you're selling something. And that's really powerful. So then the trick obviously is getting people to view this user profile, and we'll talk about that throughout the course of this call. Okay. The second way you establish your presence is through an Author Central profile, and you do that at amazon.com/authors. And again, even if you're not planning on publishing a book, although you should set up this author profile section. And the main reason is because it creates a way for you to have a website, a web page that's hosted by Amazon. It's free. It's dynamic. You can hook your blog and your tweets from Twitter on it. I'm going to talk about how you can do that right. Once you've logged into an Author Central profile account, you've created that account, you'll see a page that looks roughly like this. This is a screenshot from mine. It has some tabs along the top. You can see that the Books tab is highlighted, and it shows that the books by Brent Sampson are these ones that are listed here. You'll also see that little orangish, yellowish button there that says Add More Books. As you publish a book, whether it be a paperback or hardback or a Kindle edition, you'll come into your Author Central account through this functionality here, through that link that I just provided to you, and you'll add that book to your bibliography, and it will appear here. And in that manner, you'll start to establish an author presence on Amazon. There's a whole other functionality which we will talk about when we add content to Amazon, called the Sell on Amazon, or the Marketplace, or Seller Central. They're known under a variety of terms, and they do slightly different things, but they allow you to sell products on Amazon. And once you create one of those accounts, a Sell on Amazon account, you have roughly the same level of functionality and customization to create a selling profile on Amazon that you do here when you're selling books. It just is a matter of you're then creating your inventory. You're uploading image shots of the products you're selling, whether they be TVs or Blu-ray disc players or whatever it is that you personally sell. And if you're selling a service, the best way to have products associated with your service is a series of how-to manuals and books. And that's really how you sell a service. That's what we do at Outskirts Press, is we sell a service of publishing. So I've written a series of books that I can put on Amazon so that I can sell those services through accounts that Amazon offers, like this one. Okay, let's look at the next screen here, which is just one button over, still on the Author Central profile page. This is where you can fill out your profile on your Author Central account. Now, this information is different from the information we filled out on the user profile on Amazon. This is going to be more specifically geared toward a writing, but it doesn't have to be. Since you have full control over the content here, you can see here where I circled the Visit Amazon's Brent Sampson page, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But directly below that, you'll see this section called Biography, and you can edit this biography and put in content that's geared towards selling you, your book, or your business. You want to put in some benefit statements. You want to put in a call to action, and you want to put in some motivation for the consumer or the reader, your hopefully future customer, to go elsewhere and do business with you. So they're seeing some reasons why they might want to do business with me, and then I end with, to watch a video, receive a free ebook, and learn the top 7 self-publishing must-haves, visit outskirtspress.com/selfpublishing.html. So I've given them a mechanism, a very specific link that they can cut and paste into their browser and go get that free stuff. So hopefully that's compelling the people who visit my Author Central webpage to learn more about self-publishing. So you would want to do that and aim people toward your page, whether it be Facebook or what have you. Directly below that circled section, you can see where I picked up my blog feed. That's automatic. Every time I update my blog through WordPress, it's going to put a feed onto my Amazon page. And then in the lower right-hand corner, it also does the same thing with my Twitter feed. Every time I tweet a new 140 characters on Twitter, it's going to populate this. So you'll see that section here. So what does the author web page look like on Amazon? Well, it looks like this. Okay, so this is a specific link that Amazon makes available for its authors. So once you've filled out all of the sections on that Amazon Author Central page that we just went through by filling out your biography, your bibliography, your RSS feeds for your blog or your tweets, the page will start to be populated in a manner like this. And then when people come to this page, they'll learn about you, they'll get your benefit statements, they'll see where they can go outside of Amazon to conduct business with you. You won't have to worry about updating this page through tweets and through blogs because the RSS feeds are going to do that automatically. It's also going to take all of the books that you've written, and hopefully you're building upon them through the Kindle digital platform, which I'll talk about in a second. You're adding your content to Amazon. It's automatically adding itself to this as well. Every time you add maybe a different edition book, you just quickly add it to this page, and your bibliography of content starts to grow. Now you may ask, how do people see this page? Well, I will show you in a second. Okay, so we've now done the two main steps of establishing your presence on Amazon, which was filling out your user profile, primarily your signature or your headline. That's where it identifies you by name and then also says who you are or what you're about. If you've written a book, you can say the title of your book. And I'll give you some real-world examples of exactly what that looks like on Amazon and how you can see the benefit. Okay, next we're talking about establishing your content on Amazon. We're going to leave some time for questions at the end, so I'm going to try to go fast to give you as much content and information as I can, and then if we have questions at the end, I will be happy to answer those. Here we are establishing your content. We're going to talk about specifically 3 ways to do that: the Kindle, a paperback book, and then also products. Now, if you have a service-oriented business, whether it's search engine optimization or you're an attorney or a speaker, anything like that, the best way to put a product onto Amazon that sells that is by writing something, a how-to manual or a book, and then publishing it, and then using Amazon as a platform to not only sell that product in the form of a book, but to also establish your own expertise in that field, whatever that field is. Now, Amazon sells way more than books nowadays. It sells electronics and computer games and DVDs and all kinds of variety of things. So if you're also in the product-oriented business-to-consumer or business-to-business industry, Amazon is a great way to add content to your profiles in the form of your own inventory, and then you can actually sell directly from Amazon. And the trick then is to making sure that you're not competing with yourself, and there are ways to do that. Okay. Let's talk about that first step there, which was establishing your content on Amazon by publishing a Kindle edition of your book. I presume that we all know what the Kindle is. The Kindle it's their e-book reading device, and they're saying that now the e-book editions sold through the Kindle are outnumbering paperback editions, although one of the primary reasons that's the case, statistically, if it is the case, is because the Kindle edition versions of those books are, in a lot of cases free or 99 cents. The trick then is to realize that when you are creating content for the Kindle, unless you're some of these rare case scenarios that Amazon loves advertising and promoting their success for, you're more than likely not going to make your money from the actual sale of the Kindle edition. You might, 70 cents on the dollar isn't too bad of a profit margin. It's pretty good. But what you're really trying to do is use the Kindle edition as for lack of a better word, a brochure. It's a very subtle brochure toward the service or the product that you really make money on. Okay? So in order to publish a Kindle edition, first you have to write something, and of course now with ghostwriters you don't even have to do that. Outskirts Press offers ghostwriting services. You can do a Google search for ghostwriters, and you can throw them your notes or your own employee manual or your own how-to guide from your own company and say, hey, can you write me a 100-page Kindle book real quick? You'll have to write a check, but at least you won't have to write the book. Ghostwriting is not inexpensive, but for those of us who have way better things to do, sometimes it's a really viable option. And then once you have the content, you then have to publish it, and this is where you go to do that. You go to KDP, which stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. shop.amazon.com, and you start to create an Amazon Kindle account. You can upload that content directly into it. There's a number of different formats that Kindle accepts. Some of them look better than others, so you want to play around with that. And then you start to open up the distribution outlets on Amazon, indicate what your retail price is, and do all of that legal stuff that Amazon's going to require. It's an online form. It's a little bit daunting when you first see it, but you just go step by step. There are also services that do the Kindle edition publishing process completely for you also, if you're interested in that. Okay. The next way to establish your content is through publishing a hardback or a paperback book. And I've labeled this slide, Establish Your Content Paperback Number 1, not because we're going to talk about multiple paperbacks, but because this particular screen on Amazon is so long vertically that I had to cut it into chunks in order to put them onto this PowerPoint presentation in a manner where it was still legible. So this is the top portion of a page of a screenshot that I'm going to talk about for one of my books called Self-Publishing Simplified. And I've circled a number of different areas of this page. Now, anytime you put a product, whether it be a book or a TV, onto Amazon, you're going to get a detailed sales page, which is what I'll call this here, where the product is shown. If you've provided a screenshot for it, and books, when they distribute through Amazon, their cover will usually appear on it. Otherwise, you have a product shot of a TV. That's going to appear in this left corner here, along with what the device or the book is called, its title, which I've circled in red here, along with some reviews and the pricing and the availability in stock, all of this stuff. If you're familiar with Amazon at all, this, of course, is the page that you see the most as you browse through products. Now, I've circled the title because the title represents one of the greatest opportunities for marketing anything on Amazon, and that's making sure that it is keyword intensive, right? So I wrote a book in order to do exactly what I'm talking about today, which is in order to sell a real service. I don't make any money when this book sells. It's $5.95 on Amazon, which is a very low retail price on Amazon. So I think maybe we make a quarter, but the purpose of the book is to sell our services, to help others understand how they can publish and market books through Outskirts Press. So when you write a book to sell your service or your product, that's your goal also. I wouldn't recommend thinking of this particular book as a means to make money through the book. The means actually is to make the price of this particular book as low as possible so that you don't lose money, you break even, so that people buy it, and then they get the information that you're giving to them, and the benefit of that information causes them to look deeper into doing business with you, and then that's where you really start to make some money, is through your real source of income. Titling this book is very important. You want to make sure that whatever they're typing into the Amazon search engine or into Google even, since so many products from Amazon show up on Google because of their page ranking, that the keyword is going to target those customers, those potential consumers that are most valuable to you, okay? All right, you also see another circle down directly below the cover, which are interior images. And now knowing going forward that you're creating a book which needs to have multiple thumbnails, you want to create a couple of eye-catching graphics or pie charts, something that sells what you're selling visually. I'm in the middle of writing another book called People Don't Read Anymore, but how to market and sell to them anyway. And it's true, in the internet age, people are browsers, people are surfers, people watch things or take information visually much more than just reading information. So even if you're selling something like that has them read something, you want there to be a lot of visual information, pie charts, graphs, videos, things of that nature. So make sure that your book has that information in it. And then when people click on the fun pie chart, the pie chart can communicate your selling proposition, your unique selling proposition or your competitive advantage, maybe much faster than the actual book. Maybe they don't even buy your book on Amazon. That's okay. The purpose is to get them to do business with you. So maybe they find out information, enough compelling information from just looking at this detail page, that they click on the author. They click on Brent Sampson, and where do you think they go when they click on Brent Sampson? In my case, they go to that Amazon author page where I had benefits about my company, benefits about my books. and that link that takes them outside to the company I'm trying to drive them to, right? So when you have your link, the same thing happens after you've established your presence on Amazon. When you start to add your content to Amazon, it ties back to your presence, and people go and do business with you off of Amazon. That's the point. Okay, establish your content. Paperback number 2. We're still on the same paperback. This is screenshot number 2. This is the same page. I've just scrolled vertically. If we were on Amazon, I would have just scrolled down a little bit. And you can see this next section, which I've circled, which is more about the author. There's that page. There's that photograph again of me, right? It's following us all over, and that's good. People are going to start to associate that with information and detailed content about publishing and marketing books. And there's a link. Visit Amazon's Brent Sampson page, and it goes to that page that we created, which hopefully is compelling enough to my potential customers that they're then going to want to do business with us. People like doing business with knowledgeable experts in particular fields. That's a way to start to establish some trust and credibility and create relationships. And that's the cornerstone of all sales of products and services. Okay. This next screenshot is still further down on the same page. I said this was a long page on Amazon. It is. The detail page for all products is pretty long. So if you keep scrolling down below where we just were, you get to a section called tags. Customers associate with this product. And you'll see here that this whole section is circled, but I've also circled an interior word, just one word, self-publishing. Now that's the same keyword that I use to title my book. No matter what you sell, when you title your product and you title your book, if you're selling a product or a service, get your keyword into the title and then also tag that product or book with the same keyword. And then also similar keywords that are applicable, right? Here, publishing, print on demand, all of these applicable keywords that either I added or people who have come upon this book have added, right? Now, what's the value of that? Well, Amazon has lots of forums. And we'll talk a little bit about forums later on when we start talking about establishing your expertise. But let's look really quickly at a screenshot from what happens when you click on that self-publishing tag link. You get to a page here that's organized by popularity. These are the products or books that are organized based on popularity that have that self-publishing tag. Okay? You can see that the product, in this case it's a book, that we're talking about is appearing on page 1 of this self-publishing tag keyword. Now, what is nice about this is it takes millions and millions of competitors with millions of products that exist on Amazon that are all trying to get eyeballs and consumers and dollars, and it's really narrowed it down with sniper-like precision to the people who only care about self-publishing. Now, for those people, those are really high leads for me. And for your business, if you're an attorney and you've written a book about divorce law or about how to keep the house or how to keep the children or whatever your specific forte is, you want to target down to that specific target. And that way you're not competing against me. Your book won't show up on this list, but what it will do is it will show up on page 1 of your tags, which is what you want to do. And actually, if you look closer at this page, you'll notice that I have 2 other books also appearing on the first page under the same tag. And that's really the beautiful thing about print-on-demand publishing and Kindle publishing nowadays is there's a very low barrier to entry to publishing books and then marketing them. The hardest part now is writing the book, and maybe that's always been the hardest part, although maybe not. It used to be publishing was the hardest part. Now you get multiple versions of content geared just very slightly differently toward different people, and you can really start to broaden the whole content spectrum that you have on Amazon. I have a book geared toward marketing. I have a book geared toward children's publishing, book geared toward black and white fiction and nonfiction publishing. But for people who are interested in self-publishing, 3 of them are showing up here under this tag. They start looking more and more into this, right? Okay, so that's the tricks and exactly the tactics that I want you to take for your books and for your products to drive business to your content. Okay, let's get back to this page. This is a screen we've already seen. This is the more about the author page, and then it goes down to these reviews. Now, you can establish a lot of content by writing reviews for products and for books on Amazon. And I write about this quite extensively in my book, Sell Your Book on Amazon, which is looking for what I call your competitive circle. You want to find those products or those books or those authors or professionals who you are in direct competition with. And the purpose here is not to badmouth them or to belittle them. No, the purpose here is to, well, for lack of a better word, piggyback upon whatever success they're having, right? Because the more you kind of can associate or at least be in the same room with, you know, in my case, the Dan Pointers and John Kramers of the world, and the Seth Godins of the world, then the more people who are learning about them, they have a much higher percentage or ratio of appearances, and people are finding them much more readily than they are you or me. Then if I've put my finger into their pool, people will stumble across me, my content, my presence on Amazon, or your presence on Amazon in your case, and then they'll start to want to do business with you too. You've put yourself into the room, right? You're at the party. Now you're trying to go up and introduce yourself to the customer, and that's what these pages do. They allow you to do that electronically. Well, a review is a way for you to introduce yourself. You write a helpful, articulate, professional, diplomatic, content-filled review for your competitor's information, and it says who it's by. Well, that byline is exactly what we filled out on our author profile and on our user profile page, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit more when we talk about establishing your expertise, which is almost next. Now, the last section of establishing your content is selling on Amazon. And that's not referring to my book, although the title is similar. No, this is referring to selling products on Amazon. This is two screenshot captures, actually, all kind of sharing the same space here. This one in the background is the very bottom of every Amazon page. It's the footer that Amazon currently has. And in the second column here, it has a headline called Make Money With Us. Well, that sounds great, right? And the very first link under the Make Money With Us column is Sell on Amazon. And when you click on that, you open up the Amazon Services portal here, where you can create an account to sell your stuff, right? You're either selling less than 40 items a month or you're selling more than 40 items a month. And then you open up the applicable account, and that's where you can start to sell your own products on Amazon. And now how I've hopefully demonstrated through just an example of a book, the same tactics and that same detail page holds true when you have any product on Amazon. You want to use the same tactics of driving those people to your content and then having that content information drive people to do business with you. And they find out how to do business with you by going to your user profiles, which have links outside of Amazon to your business. Okay, so we've established our presence and we've established our content. So the last thing we need to do is we need to establish our expertise. There are a number of ways to do that on Amazon. There's more ways than this, but for sake of brevity, we're just going to touch upon these 4 items. There's 5 bullet points there because one's a repeat, and that's because I want to demonstrate the full circular nature of these 3 steps. They build upon each other. You don't do, it doesn't really matter which one you start at, actually. You kind of go in a circle and do step 1, step 2, step 3, around and around and around. That's what I call the virtuous circle in my book. Let's talk about Amazon forums first, which is this screenshot that we've already seen. We talked about tags already, and you saw the benefit of when clicking on that self-publishing, going to 3 screenshots of 3 different books of mine. But down here lower, there are customer discussions, this product forum. And I created a discussion called 5 Tips for Catching Errors in Your Manuscript. So this is a way that you can start to establish your expertise on Amazon, is you can piggyback upon your own products' detail pages by opening a discussion. You can also do this from your competitors' detail pages by opening a discussion. Perhaps those pages are getting more viewers and more eyeballs than yours. That's okay. Open a discussion in that page. If it's related and applicable, Amazon will populate that discussion across multiple products and services, as you see here, right directly below active discussions in related forums. So this is what Amazon determines are related to the content of my particular book. Your forums are going to be different, but the concept is the same. You want to start to participate in these forums, have discussions with people who are actively engaged in this community. Okay? It's not a shotgun blast. This is a sniper precision toward potential customers who have searched for your content, your services, your product. They're starting to establish your expertise in that arena by participating on Amazon in this manner. Okay, this next shot is one we've already seen too, but I told you I was going to talk a little bit more about product reviews and really the benefit of writing a review in association with the signature or the headline file that we talked about at the very beginning of this webinar. Let me switch to the very next slide. I just put a kind of a cut and paste graphic over this reader review with an arrow pointing out what a review that I've written looks like, and I've drawn where it would appear. So you can see when you write a review and you've established your signature headline in a manner that promotes whatever it is you're trying to promote, everywhere that you write a review, Amazon is going to promote whatever it is you're trying to promote. So in this case, I'm promoting OutskirtsPress.com, also indicating my qualifications for that by stating my position. You may want to be the author of, and then put the title of your book there. Or you might want to be the owner and founder of some other domain name. Whatever it is, whatever you're selling, you may want to be an established attorney or a motivational speaker. Whatever it is, you put that information in there, and everywhere you interact with Amazon, that headline signature follows you around. Now here's really one of the most beautiful parts about this is you will notice that I wrote this review, beautiful, unique artwork. I wrote that review on October 24th, 2007. Well, I can tell you that on October 24th, 2007, Brent Sampson, CEO of OutskirtsPress.com, wasn't the signature file that I was using at the time. I had something else in there. But the review stays. I can go into my user profile and I can change this section to something else, and Amazon dynamically updates everywhere that it appears. Well, that allows me to do what's called A/B testing, right? I can start to do A/B tests on what the most effective signature headline on Amazon is. And the way I do that is I change it on my user profile, all my content everywhere, all my reviews, that all stays the same. And I can see for a month, perhaps, how much business or how much money I make based on signature file A. And then the next month, I can change that just to my user profile. All the content stays the same. All my reviews stay the same, but I change just these 7 words or 6 words, right? And I put it to something else. And that's my B test. And if I make more money or I get more customers, then I know that my B test, that wording, is better than my A test, right? And then I have a new baseline, and then I test it again, right? A/B testing, probably something we're familiar with. Well, Amazon makes that really easy to do by dynamically updating this. But just you can see where it's really beneficial to put information that actually sells something in this headline right here. When people click on that, they go straight to my user profile where they see the benefit statements, they see information about me, they see all the reviews I've written, but they also see, most importantly, that link to my website, right? You want them to see that link to your website. Get off of Amazon. Go do business with you. That's what you want them to do. Okay, let's talk really quickly about your profile again. We've already seen this page with the circled your profile where you get to it, right? When you click on anybody's review, for instance, you'll come to their page that looks like this, their profile page. Some are more filled out than others, but to get to yours, you just click that your profile link, right? You can learn about them through all of these things that I talked about, most importantly, the OutskirtsPress.com. You can also see what they've contributed, the reviews they've written, the Listmania lists, the guides they've done, and we're going to talk about this next because Listmania lists and guides are the next way that you can establish your expertise on Amazon. Listmania lists really are like top 10 lists or top 50 lists or some number of lists that identify products that you think are going to be of use to other people. So you want to establish a list of products or books that you feel will be beneficial to your potential customers. And you create a list for it. You create a Listmania list. And you want to pick books or products that are popular, because the list that you create will then appear on the detail pages for the popular products. Sure, you might want to throw in one of your books too, but the point here is to throw in popular books or popular products that everybody's seen, so that statistically you have a better chance of showing up on those detail pages. People will click through because they want to find top 3 books on self-publishing. This is just an example of a list that I wrote really quickly. You would want to have a much more comprehensive and much more compelling title and a much more compelling list than this, but the concept is the same, which is getting all of these products that are associated with yours. You're dropping yours in there, sure, but the goal really is to get people to read your list, click on who wrote it, and get to this page and get to this right here, right? The domain name where you want them to go. You're establishing some trust and a relationship with these people. And then as a result of that, they're going to want to do business with you, right? The next tab over under contributions is the guides. Slightly same concept, although this really is more comprehensive in terms of its content. If you've written an article, it's not quite long enough to publish a Kindle edition, really. Kindle edition maybe is the compilation of 10 or 20 articles that you've started to write. But if you're writing articles for your business, and a lot of you as internet marketers probably are, you know the value of doing that, then you publish those articles as guides on Amazon, and you drop in associated books or products into that guide also, so that your guide appears on the associated detail pages for those books or products that you mention in your guide. The result being people who are learning or researching content or your product and looking at some of your competitors too will come across your guide. They'll read your guide. They'll learn about you. They may see you dropping your product into that guide too. That's okay. But then they'll find ultimately about you, and they'll want to learn more about your service by coming back to here. So this is an example of a guide I wrote as an example. So you'd like to publish your book. I didn't have any control over the so you'd like to part. That's what Amazon puts there. So the name of my guide was Publish Your Book. But you'll see right below it, a guide by my name and that signature, that same seal of OutskirtsPress.com that you want to have following you around. This is where you can put in that and then alternate it with A/B testing, see what's best, right? Here's the guide that you write. It's an article you write. It drops products in there. This guide appears on all of these detail pages from time to time. So people who are looking at writer's market, publishing their book traditionally, they're going to run into me and my services about how you can self-publish your book and keep way more of the money, right? And then way over here on the right upper hand column, I've circled the About This Guide section, right? That face keeps following us around, right? All of that is a good way of branding yourself, establishing your expertise in your topic or your business. Okay, you may ask how to create your Listmania or So You'd Like To guides, and that's what this screenshot does. This is the same screen from the detail page for the book we were talking about before. We've just scrolled down a little bit further below Customer Discussions to a Listmania section. Nearly every product on Amazon has a Listmania section. Right here, right at the very bottom of the Listmania section, is a link that says Create a Listmania List, and that's where you can Listmania list. Directly below that is a So You'd Like To, where you see the Guides section, and directly below 3 guides, you'll see another link that says Create Your Own Guide. That's how you create the Listmania lists and the So You'd Like To guides. Okay, so just like that, we have established presence, established content, and established expertise. Jay did a good job of talking about the book, so I'm not going to talk too much more about that, although I will mention that you can save 10% on it by going to our website at outskirtspress.com/bookstore. It's easy enough. Do a search for Sell Your Book on Amazon. You can buy it. We sell all our authors' books at 10% to 55% off directly from us, and the author still makes 100% of their royalty, which is great. Another resource just really quickly that I want to talk about, I don't want to do that, is this, which is the Amazon Extreme package. We offer these services that I've talked about in detail as a convenience. You know, we'll create the Amazon Kindle for you. We'll do that search inside if you have a paperback on Amazon. We'll establish your keywords, and we'll actually throw in a free paperback copy of this book. You can save 25% on that off a la carte pricing. You go to outskirtspress.com/p/stream. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention just in general that we help writers and professionals write, publish, and market their book regardless of what stage they're in, or even regardless of where they're planning on publishing at outskirtspress.com. I think I've left time for questions.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for that, Brent. That's a lot of great content, and we'll just go ahead and jump right into the questions now so we can get to as many questions as possible. So the first question is from Gustavo, and need an ISBN number, and if so, how do you go about obtaining that number?
That depends what type of content you're trying to sell on Amazon. If you're just selling a Kindle edition of your book on Amazon, they do not require an ISBN. They will assign what they call an AISN number, which is an Amazon identification number. So they'll do that for you. If you're planning on selling a paperback book, whatever publisher you choose will have an ISBN for you, or you can get your own ISBN from the ISBN entity in the United States, which is Bowker's. You can get ISBNs either individually or in blocks of as little as 10. We have a private label ISBN service at Outskirts Press, and you can go to outskirtspress.com and click on the Writing tab, and you can get your own private label ISBN, which is registered to you, so you're the publisher of record, and it's actually cheaper through us than through Bowker. So the short answer is it depends what you publish. The long answer is I'd certainly always get an ISBN. It will help you have the most flexibility for your book.
Okay, great. The next question is from Anna, and Anna asked if you could clarify again what was the first section that you mentioned where you create an Amazon profile and not the Author Central?
Yep. You create a user profile on Amazon by going to any product on Amazon. The easiest way where you would create your own. So for example, looking at Harry Potter, you scroll down to the reviews of Harry Potter. You click on one of the blue links for anybody who's written a review for Harry Potter, and it will take you, once you click on that link of that reviewer, it will take their user profile. Then you follow that little subheading, and let's see if I can find it really quickly right here. It will take you to the subheading, and then you click on the Your Profile. If you can still see my screen, I'm circling, I'm pointing to it with the mouse. You click on that Your Profile link, and that's how you get to your profile. And that's a very important section to fill out when you want to start establishing your presence on Amazon, because the Your Profile page is what gives you the power to put great advertising content like this on everything that you write or promote or do on Amazon. Hope that helped answer that question.
Yep. She said thank you so much.
Okay.
The next question is from Brian Stevens, and Brian asks, do you recommend DRM for ebooks?
Kindle has a mechanism to either enable that or not enable that, and this, of course, is a personal preference for you. You may be worrying about, kind of the proprietary nature of the copyright nature of your content. The way that I would answer that question was it depends upon what the content is and what its purpose is. If you're writing a book like Self-Publishing Simplified, where clearly the purpose of that content for me is to get it into as many hands as possible, because I'm in the book, I'm not doing as I'm selling the services that I want to promote. I wouldn't want to have DRM for that because I want people to take that book and share it with other people, right? I'm selling the information. I'm giving that away because I want them to do business with me. So if your content is intended to get them to do real business with you separately from your book, then I wouldn't suggest DRM. If you're writing something that's very proprietary or secretive, or the value of the content itself, and it has a retail price of $39, $49, $99, or it's an ebook that you're selling on a website for $400, or it's a seminar, or some of those really packaged things, then your content is what you're protecting, and in that case, DRM is probably a good thing to do. Digital rights management. Yep.
Okay, great. The next question is from Paul, and Paul asked, how do you edit the tags? I'm an Amazon author, but the option to edit tags does not appear on my product page when I edit other content.
Your ability to edit the tags is going to be pretty limited. You can add new tags. For those of you who are still looking at the screenshot, I've gone to the tags customers associate with this product. You can add tags here. You're not going to be able to remove tags. So the way that Amazon and just kind of the social community in general, it's got kind of called crowdsourcing, the way they control and self-regulate that information is through popularity of the tag. So if a non-applicable tag has been added to your book, what ultimately you hope happens is other people don't click that little bubble to vote for it. So it becomes more and more non-applicable, so then it goes away. Because you can see that out of all these tags that are showing up on mine, it's only a small sampling. It's the most popular applicable ones. There are 63 total tags, including 1 or 2 that probably I hate, right? I don't want them. Well, nobody sees those because they're hidden by lack of popularity. So that's really kind of a self-editing mechanism for the tags. If there truly is something that is popular and non-applicable, you can try to plead your case to Amazon customer service. I will tell you right now that they're not very accommodating in this regard, but you can try by writing a very nice, diplomatic, professional email referencing your ISBN or your AISN number if it's a product. And here's the email address that you can send it to: community-help@amazon.com. And you can ask them if they'll remove it. And say you have a 2% chance of success with that.
Okay, great, thank you. The next question is from Sheris. And Sheris, so we recently listed a book on Amazon, but because of the food chain priority, the listing arrangement, searches via our keywords result in the book showing up at the very end of 2,000+ books. Is there a way other than sales to move the book up on those search lists?
I'm glad that you mentioned other than sales, because you have identified one of the main components of Amazon's search algorithm, which is Amazon rewards successful books. I talk about this in my book quite extensively, The Virtuous Circle again, which is once your book is starting to establish its popularity with readers, with getting reviews, with actually selling a product, because Amazon's in the business to make money, once a product, whether it be a book or a TV, is making Amazon money, Amazon's algorithm is more inclined to lift it up in the rankings. So that is the best way to get your ranking higher, is to get people buying your product or your book. And you do that a lot of ways through all of these tactics that I've talked about. There's not a shortcut way to do that, per se. You can't buy a higher listing through pay-per-click or any of those things. It's just a matter, much like search engine optimization, there's not a pay-per-click shortcut to it. You have to do it kind of the old-fashioned way, which is through time and elbow grease, unfortunately. What you could try doing is taking that same content, reconditioning it in another manner. Now that you know what you know about what's not working with that old first version, try to title it in a manner which will apply to a different set of maybe more applicable or at least slightly different keywords. Try publishing it again, then making it different, trying some of the other tactics, and starting at ground zero, and maybe you'll be way further along with that second version. It's something that I suggest to some authors who have that same problem.
Okay, great. Unfortunately, we have time for one more question. So the last question from Brian. Brian asks, what if you are a publisher, promote an author if they're overawed by the marketing?
Sure. Actually, if you look at, let me see if I can find a screenshot really fast of my author page. Amazon's prepared for this, for authors and publishers to do exactly this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Oh, sure, here. Okay. If seconds have gone by where you guys are able to see this big circled area in the middle of my biography and my author page, the wording that you can't read down here below, I guess you probably can't read any of it. It's kind of fuzzy. But way down here it says, this biography is provided by either the other representative. In that case, that really means, in a lot of cases, the publisher or the agent. So Amazon wants you as the publisher to do a lot of this stuff for authors. So you just establish that account. And that's why the Author Central account can actually be a different access email and different access password than the user profile. That's one of the reasons they're separate.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Brent. It's been a pleasure having you. Unfortunately, we can't get to the rest of the questions, but if anyone wants to follow up with questions, either by posting it in the forum in the Internet Marketing Club, or you can reach Brent at outskirtspress.com. Thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure. I've had a great time.
Excellent. And thank you for everyone who attended the webinar. Look forward to seeing all of you on next week's webinar. Bye, everyone.